What is going on, YouTube? I am Lamont at large. Today we are at the Mount Lawn Cemetery here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we're going to take a tour of the cemetery, and I'm going to show you some of the deplorable conditions that exist here at this very cemetery. Let's get right into it. There is a man roaming around the cemetery on a bicycle with a very rusted machete in his hand. Now let's hope that this man means nothing but to work out here to cut away some of the brush, and he is not after my imminent demise. But instead of having a machete in his hands, he definitely needs a lawnmower, because a vast amount of this cemetery, not the whole cemetery, we're going to get to that part later in the video, but a big part of the cemetery grounds needs to be mowed very, very badly. I am walking on part of it right now. As you can see, if you can see on your screen, this has not been mowed in at least a solid month. Last time I was here, which would have been last October, so exactly a year, these two vehicles right here were in the same exact spot. Yeah, you got two junkered vehicles. I'm not really sure how many cemeteries allow people to store their unwanted vehicles, but last time I checked, this is definitely not a auto parts salvage yard. And as you can see, looks like someone has broken the window out of this vehicle and stolen whatever contents, whatever they can get out of it. Looks like the speakers are gone out of it. And of course, the grass right here, very, very overgrown. And of course, there is a very famous celebrity in this cemetery. I will not mention who that is, but if you want to watch the video that I made about their grave, you can go ahead and look in the description box below, and I'll put the link to that video right there. You're going to see quite a few overturned graves in this cemetery. Now, I'm not exactly sure if all of them are from some damn ruffians coming in here at night, high on pot and drinking beer and just goofing around. I'm pretty sure that most of them, if not all of them, are probably lying face down, because this ground is very, very uneven. Some cemeteries, their, lawns are graded very, very well. They're very, very flat. And then you have some cemeteries such as this, where the ground is just totally uneven. You got graves like that are just basically, if you can tell, it's literally about to fall over. I mean, it's just, if someone were to just kind of nudge it, it definitely would just topple over. And cemeteries like this, sometimes they're perpetually funded, which means that the money that they make with new burials will go into maintaining the grounds and the sections of old burials. And sometimes places like this, which in my opinion is probably not perpetual care, they don't have a fund to take care of the more older sections of the cemetery. So they, like this cemetery, from what I can tell, they seem to focus more of their efforts on the newer section. They're still out here, they're still maintaining the cemetery, but there is some things in the cemetery that definitely need to be addressed. This here is Lillian Etta Reed, July 25th, 1930 to April 10th, 1961. Lillian was at the Heritage Center. She was practicing with her church choir. I believe they were rehearsing for some kind of a play when her ex-husband, Harry, came in and asked to speak with her. She told him that she was busy, she was rehearsing, and all of a sudden he pulls out a butcher knife, grabs her from behind, and takes her out into a hall and just starts stabbing her. Everybody's looking around aghast. Like, it's just happening so fast, everybody's frozen in fear. And then one of the other choir members, he grabs a chair and breaks it right over Harry's head, knocking him out cold. But by then, the damage had already been done. They called for the paramedics. They arrived. They took Lillian to the St. Luke's Medical Center, and she died of multiple stab wounds to the chest. Her husband was arrested and charged with first-degree murder of his former wife, and he was sentenced to life in prison. This here is Addie Mae Lott. She was born August 16th, 1915 down in Georgia, and she died at the age of 14 on November 29th, 1929. She died of pneumonia, and she's buried alongside with her mother, Mary, and her father, Alonzo. I'm not sure who those other people are, but more than likely they are probably cousins of the parents or something along that line. I don't know if you can tell right here, but this whole grave right here, at least 3 graves, are depressed into the ground. You can kind of see it right there. That's about at least a 1.5 feet in. And this ground right here, this ground is very, very bad. You have quite a few overturned graves as I'm walking along through them right now. And you got more depressed ground right here. And this grave right here looks newer, face down on the ground, and nobody here to pick it up. And that thing, I wish I could pick it up. I'd probably throw my back out. It weighs at least 300 pounds. And it would take somebody with a crane truck to come here and want to just want to donate their time. But I don't see any volunteers. Elizabeth Rucker, February 28th, 1937 to December 4th, 1958. She was 21 years old when she died. She passed from a burst blood vessel in her brain, and she is buried with her father, James Rucker, and right next to them is her mother, Susie. This is Mary Toliver. She was born on June 6th, 1918, and she died on January 17th, 1958. So she was walking down the street, and she slipped on some ice, and apparently she broke her leg. Now, I don't know much between that and the time of her death. She breaks her leg, and they call a cab for her to go to the hospital. And by the time the cab gets to the hospital, she's already dead. They did an autopsy on her, and it's marked that she died of a pulmonary embolism, so a blood clot to her heart. So I don't know if that was a direct result of the accident or something else happened and it triggered it. I have no idea. But she suffered a pretty nasty break to her left leg. This used to be a pathway to go from one side of the cemetery to the other. And a sinkhole appeared, and now the path is blocked. You could walk around it, but I don't know how weak this area is. I'm pretty sure no vehicle is crossing to the other side. And judging by the appearance of the other sections of this cemetery, this looks like more than likely it will never be fixed. This here is Thornton Douglas Womack, December 12th, 1924 to April 20th, 1966. He is a Navy veteran of World War II. He died at the age of 41. He was a postal worker at the time of his death, and I was looking at his autopsy report, and it said thinning of the left ventricle wall, so he had a heart attack. Very young guy to have a heart attack, 41 years old. And buried next to him, George and Ruth, those are his parents, and Naomi and Carol, they both died when they were very, very young. Those would be his sisters. Check that out right there. That is totally overgrown in vines. Morton family. I don't see any names on the stone. See the other side. Well, that's covered too, but there's no names. And I don't see any graves on the ground, so here they lie hidden away from everybody else. Eloise Jester Cawthron, December 16th, 1925 to November 21st, 1954. Eloise died during an abortion. She died from loss of blood, and it appears online that it looks like it was possibly like an illegal abortion. Maybe it was one of those back alley things where they do it in doctors' offices that are not licensed. This looks like it used to be either an office or this was possibly a house where the cemetery caretaker would live. And now, of course, it is abandoned and overgrown. It's too bad that they can't get somebody to come in here and move in, and in exchange for free rent and a place to stay, a couple bucks a month, they could take care of the cemetery. But it does not appear that this place is in any kind of livable condition. And I'm pretty sure it would take quite a bit of money to at least possibly just bulldoze this house down and maybe put a fenced-in enclosure with maybe a small single-wide mobile home or something along those lines. Or better yet, just rehab the place in general. This is the back end of the cemetery, and as you can see, this place is very barren. Now, all because you see very few headstones does not mean that there's nobody buried out here, but it is marked with the number. I think it's section number 7. John Lindsay Jr., Private, U.S. Army, World War II, February 5th, 1918 to June 4th, 1955. Dad, our first hero. Mr. Lindsay died of a stroke at the time of his death. He was a mechanic. This here is Detective Melvin Brandon Mayfield, badge number 929 with the Philadelphia Police Department. He tragically died on June 25th, 1968, at the age of 34. He died in a car accident in which he was the passenger, and I don't know if he was on duty or perhaps they were chasing somebody, but I'm led to believe online it seems to be just an accident. Okay, guys, I am finished with today's video. Kind of short, but I hope you at least enjoyed some parts of it. And hopefully one day they'll be able to keep up this cemetery the way it should be kept up. This is a cemetery that, has quite a bit of history, and it seems to have just been totally, not saying forgotten, but just not kept up to standards of what once was. Live but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I'm Lamont at Large. I will see you on the next video. Have a good day, guys. Peace out.